Yo, what's going on, buddy? This is Don't Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, what we're going to be discussing is, if you didn't know how the college football world works, January 15th is actually the official date of when players need to announce if they're going to be going to the NFL draft or if they're going to be returning for another season in college football. And as you can see by your calendar, January 15th has now come and gone. We are now going to be going over Ohio State, as I'm an Ohio State fan, and we're going to be kind of going over and talking about Ohio State players and who is returning and who is leaving, and kind of getting an idea of why I feel like this year is very important because, spoiler, Ohio State is bringing a lot of players back. A lot of players are coming back for junior years, senior years, coming back for another run at the title. And I mean everybody from Henderson to JTT to Jack Sawyer. A lot of big time players, and Mecca Buka, they're all coming back. And I'm wondering, spoiler, is Ryan Day on the hot seat? Because that's the big question now. If Ryan Day is on the hot seat, this would make sense. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to kind of go through, like I said, review all the players that are going to be returning, and then some of the players that have announced they're going in the draft. We're also going to talk about some of the transfer guys and talk about if are any of them important or not important for them. If they're them transferring out, is it really going to mean much to us? And then by the end, I'm going to kind of give my opinion on, do I think this is the year for Ohio State? Do they have the ammunition and the hardware to go at a run? So I'm going to stop rambling and we're going to get straight onto this. So if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you go and drop a like onto this video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, we have the 11 Warriors Instagram page here. This is kind of where I'm getting all my info from whenever it comes to, like, all the reports of players transferring, players coming, players going. So that's where we're going to be. So if you want to, pretty much like I said, go get all your news and stuff like that, Instagram, I'll put a link to their Instagram page down in the description, like I said, if you want to go get all your information. But first up, let's kind of go over and talk about our transfers. Now, these are all the transfers from Ohio State that have already announced they're transferring out of Ohio State and then have already found a new home. Looking at this list, the only ones here that I'd say are like big time hurting ones, in my opinion, Chip Trayanum to Kentucky, that one kind of hurts, but then again, we did get another transfer. We'll talk about him in a couple seconds. A new transfer running back out of Ole Miss, so that one is kind of now replaced. Julian Fleming leaving, that one kind of hurt because he was going into his, I believe he was already a senior. Somehow he's got another year eligibility. He is from Penn State, so I'm a little bit kind of happy for Julian. He's from Pennsylvania. He's going back to Penn State. He could play one more year there and then go to the NFL. Kyle McCord, good riddance. I'm kind of 50-50 on this. Would I have liked if he stayed? Maybe. But then again, it's like he was just so up and down his career in the year where he was here at Ohio State, so I'm not really opposed to him leaving. And then the two down here, Jair Brown and Kai Stokes, I'm a little pissed off by that one because I thought they could have stepped up and been starters this year. But with the way of how the guys have all been announced they're returning, I think that does play into a little bit part. I think the guys that are returning, like, I'll kind of spoil it. We have a couple corners that are going to be coming back next season for their third and fourth seasons. So I think these recruits, these freshmen and sophomores, heard this news way early on in like late December, and they pretty much knew, okay, yep, I'm transferring. I'm not even going to worry about staying because there's going to be no playing time for me. And when it comes to the rest of the transfers, it's kind of whatever. I mean, some of them, like Victor Cutler, he was kind of a good player. Amari Obor, I would have liked if he would have stayed. He was going to be a good depth piece. And then Noah Rogers, I would have liked if he stayed too. He was developing into a really great player. But, I mean, NC State, you got a good one there. And then down here, Jesse Mirko, when do punters transfer? What the fuck? When do punters transfer? I thought punters were always just walk-ons. When could they transfer? I don't know about you, but that's a new one for me. But let's kind of go and start off with a couple of the players that we can see here. You'll see it up there. Ohio State defensive tackle Michael Hall Jr. And I get why he's leaving. Right now, I think in the mock drafts, he's projected on a good day, if he has a great combine, great pro day, great, like every single a chance he has to go out there and perform and show scouts, show coaches, show general managers what he's capable of, he could be a late first-round pick. Maybe he could somehow sneak up a little bit higher. I think he's going to be a day two guy, mid-second round pick. Maybe he slips in the third round. It all just depends on kind of where he falls against the rest of the competition. He struggled a little bit with Ohio State, but then again, I think he did have a better year this year than he has in the past. And I think in his mind, he's thinking, I have a good year. I need to get out now. Could he have come back again and had a good season with us? He's already got 3 years with the Buckeyes. He could have came back for another season and played better. Maybe if we have a really good season this year, the defensive line can hunt. Maybe he could have been solidified as a first-round pick. Maybe all 4 of our defensive linemen could have been first-round picks next season, kind of like the Clemson defensive line a couple years ago. I realize I'm dreaming about that. It could happen. I realize it probably won't happen, but I'm just spitballing. Michael Hall, I wish you good luck in the NFL. I hope you go high in the draft. I'm rooting for you in the NFL. Next up, we got Steel Chambers. He's also going to the draft. He pretty much, like it says here, he had 5 years with the Buckeyes. He couldn't come back. I don't think he could come back even if he wanted to. I don't think he had any eligibility left. If he did, somebody correct me in the comments. 5 years, he played everything he could with Ohio State. He did everything he could. He also, I think he played in the Cotton Bowl. Played good. So, I mean, The NFL is going to be getting a really good linebacker here in the near future. Could he be going to somewhere? His play style, he needs to go to a football team that has like an aggressive, hard-minded lifestyle. He doesn't need to be going anywhere like, I feel like, a high-fly team like a Dolphins or a Chiefs or a flashy team. He doesn't need to go anywhere. He needs to go somewhere like a Lions, a Browns, a Steelers, somebody that has grit, a 49ers, somebody that has grit, and they just want to punch you in the mouth. That's the kind of linebacker he is. But like I said, same thing with Michael Hall. Steel Chambers, I wish you luck. You got one of the best badass name in the league going forward. So I wish you luck, and I wish you nothing but the best. And the last player that's going to be announcing they're going to the NFL draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. We kind of knew this was happening. I'm surprised he didn't announce earlier on, especially whenever he sat out the Cotton Bowl. If he would have played in the Cotton Bowl, it would have made a lot more speculation of, oh my God, could he actually come back? But we all knew, I think he was going. There were some rumors of maybe the boosters could possibly get some money together, pay him a lot of money with the NIL to possibly stay here for another year and then go to the NFL. But I think that signing bonus, that rookie signing bonus in the NFL, especially with the fact of him possibly being 3 overall, 2 overall, who knows, maybe the Bears to say, fuck Caleb Williams, we're going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., number 1 overall. That money looks pretty nice for Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to be an exceptional receiver in the league. He's going to do great. And I wish him nothing but the best. Now let's get back on track with Ohio State. Ohio State players are going to be coming to Ohio State and to help us. First up, quarterback, Will Howard. He's going to be a really good quarterback, I think, for Ohio State. Could he develop to be a better version of Kyle McCord? And that's all I think we really need. We need a better version of Kyle McCord. People are saying, is he going to be the same version? Like you can see right here. Is this an upgrade from McCord, though? That's the big thing. If he could be an upgrade over McCord, I think we could do great things. And especially with all this talent coming back and then some of the transfer guys coming in, especially with the value of how good these transfers are coming in, this offense could be really good. And like I said, we'll get into it later on, but I think Ryan Day is on the hot seat and he needs to win now. Next up, we got defensive tackle Tyleik Williams. I thought he would have been the one to go, and Mike Hall would have been the one to come back, but I guess I was wrong. I guess I got those flipped up. But like I said, Tyleik Williams coming back. He's going to be a big piece in that defensive line. I thought like he played good this year. He had 3 sacks, 20 total solo tackles. So he had an okay year. I think his mindset is, if I can come back and I can have a really good season this year, go out there and put up maybe like 6 sacks, get my solo tackles up to like 30 tackles, get some tackles for loss in the backfield, he could really boost his draft stock up a lot higher. Next up, we got Lathan Ransom. This was a big one because we had some corners and some safety transfers that were possibly coming to Ohio State, but then they announced they're going to not come to Ohio State and they're going somewhere else. And everybody was like, what the fuck's going on? That started to make sense. We saw now Lathan Ransom is coming back for a 5th season. He played good for us. He's a stud. He's a veteran. He's a leader in the back end. Hopefully he can get better and he can play a big role this upcoming season. Jack Sawyer announced he's coming back. This one was huge. He had 3 sacks in the Missouri Cotton Bowl. So this is a big time move. I'm wondering if Jack Sawyer could develop into being like the next Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, something like that, because we've been, ever since Chase Young left in 2019, we've been looking around our defensive line just saying like, Larry Johnson, where's the next great defensive lineman? Where are they at? And we haven't seen him. We thought maybe JTT is going to be it. He had a down year last year. He is coming back. We'll get to him in a minute. But Jack Sawyer, I'm really hoping he can develop into that being that piece. Next up, defensive tackle Ty Hamilton. He's also coming back. He's coming back for a 5th season. And this is where it's starting to get impressive. We have players that are not only just coming back for like, oh, maybe I was a junior, redshirt sophomore, something like that, I'll come back for another season. We have guys that could literally be graduating, could be leaving, go to the NFL. They're going to be turning 22, 23 years old, and they're like, no, I'm coming back again because I want to fucking win. Ty Hamilton is a good player. Same thing with Tyleik Williams. I think they have some improvement on their game. They can kind of go out there and develop their skills, hone in, and tighten some screws. They can get really good next season, and they can, like I said, improve their draft stock. It just keeps on piling on. Denzel Burke, he's coming back for a 4th season. I thought he was pretty much solidified, a 1st-round pick, top 15 overall, easily. The fact that he's coming back is scary. This boy coming back makes it known that Ohio State, the whole team basically got together, and they said, we have one mission in mind, and we'll get to that in a minute, but they have a mission in mind, and they want to go for it all. And they said, everybody come back. If we all come back, we can make this happen. So now next season, we don't have to worry about, okay, who's going to be our number 1 corner? Who's going to be the lockdown man? Denzel Burke is back. Offensive lineman Donovan Jackson is returning for a 4th season. I'm not sure if I like this move, more the fact of our offensive line looks like shit against Missouri, but then again, that it could be because the quarterback play was also shit in that game. So maybe he could be kind of like the veteran on the offensive line. Hopefully our offensive line does get better next season. But I mean, hey, I'm happy he's back. Some people in here say they like it. Some people say they hated it. This guy here saying he regressed this season. I kind of agree. He didn't really do that good this season, but maybe next season isn't a new year, new him. Jordan Hancock's coming back. Once again, kind of like with Ransom. We got our back end solidified. Burke, Ransom, Hancock, all coming back. So that's going to be huge. We don't get Marvin Harrison back, but we got Emeka Egbuka back. I think when we saw Emeka Egbuka announce he was going to be playing in the Cotton Bowl, that pretty much confirmed it for us. We knew he's coming back. I think in his mind, he's looking, and when he saw that Will Howard was going to be quarterback, he had to go out there. He kind of talked with him and figure out, can you throw me the ball and get me some yards? If he can, he'll come back. And I think something Will Howard said was, I'm going to get you the ball. Don't worry. I don't think Emeka has really anything to prove. He more or less is just coming back because I think it all serves the same purpose. Like I said, we'll get into it in a minute. I think it's more or less of running it back. They want to go and prove something. And the last one that's most important, Travion Henderson is returning for a 4th season. I didn't think he was going to come back. I thought he very easily could have went to the draft, been a late 1st round pick, early 2nd round pick, easily kind of within the spot of where running backs kind of get selected. Maybe he thinks he can come back and he can try to develop and be a top player, possibly top 20 pick, get some more money on his 1st round draft pick contract. But that right there is basically every single player that's going to be coming back. Now, let's really quickly just kind of go through some of the players that are transferring in. First up, I already talked about this a while back. Seth McLaughlin, he's coming out of Alabama. He was the one that couldn't snap the ball correctly in the Rose Bowl. He's not going to be playing center at Ohio State. People have said here, it says here, he's going to be playing center for Ohio State. I think it's best to put him to guard. People have said he's a very good blocker. He just can't snap the ball for some reason. So I don't understand why you would put him at center. Put him at guard. Let him be a great guard, and he could really help out our offensive line. Next up, the Ole Miss transfer running back, Quinshawn Junkins, I think is how you say the name. He's going to be a stud running back. He's led all records, what the SEC says right here. 2-time All-SEC running back. He was the star running back. He had a bunch of records for as a freshman in Ole Miss, for Ole Miss freshman history and SEC freshman history, I think is where it went. So now just imagine this boy and Travion Henderson both running that ball as a 1-2 punch. Good luck. And some other things we got to talk about. Safeties coach, Coach Perry Alano, he's not going to be returning for the season, so we're firing our safeties coach. We hired senior advisor and analyst Matt Geary as our safety coach after a year at Indiana as their co-defensive coordinator. And then Parker Fleming is not going to be returning for a 4th season as Ohio State special teams coordinator. So we are going in and we're just diagnosing everything that's wrong, and we're going to be fixing it, and then we have a lot of ammunition coming back as players to help us win. Now, why exactly are they all coming back? I've already said it a couple times. They want to come back because they have a couple things in mind. Number one, national championship is on the mind. They all have the idea of, if we all come back with all this talent we have, we can make a run for it. Number two, most of these players, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, do the math, not a single one has beaten Michigan. Michigan has now beaten Ohio State 3 years in a row, plus that COVID year, which is 4 years. So unless you've been to Ohio State at least 6 years, you have not beat Michigan. You are begging and begging. You want to beat Michigan. You were so close last year. You almost did it. Kyle McCord threw that pick at the end. Fuck you, Kyle. 2 years ago, you thought you had it in the bag in the halftime. We were up 21-17, and then we just dinked around and couldn't do jack shit. There's a little bit of a sign stealing allegation going on with that, but we'll discuss that some other time. Now, if I was asked the question, do I think Ohio State has what it takes now to go, like I said, run it back? Take this talent, Ryan Day, go out there and make it happen. You said you have the pass game. Cool. You had receivers come in. You got everything fixed. You don't have the quarterback. Cool. You got Will Howard. You don't got the running game solidified. Okay, let's go get you Quinshawn Junkins and let's fix this run game. Oh, the offensive line sucks. Seth McLaughlin, Donovan Jackson coming back. Let's go get some more transfers. Let's go ahead and make sure we can develop the pieces we have. There, your offensive line could be fixed. Oh, your defense looks like it's going to be sluggish this year. Hey, we're going to have about 7 guys all come back from last year. There, boom, you're fixed. It's everything that could be wrong, Ohio State is fixing it. All that's left now, Ryan Day, you need to put your ass on the line. You need to go out there and win. Ryan Day, you need to be coaching like your life is on the line, because it basically is. If you lose to Michigan again this year, your ass is cut. Your ass will be grass. You will be cut and thrown out of Columbus. You will never be allowed to come back there again unless you're on an away team. If you beat Michigan, you win the Big Ten title game, you get to the playoffs, and maybe you win a playoff game, get to the national championship, and maybe you lose there, you might have saved your job. Might have. But if you get to the Big Ten title game, if you beat Michigan, get back to the Big Ten title game, and then you still lose, that hot seat, it's still going to be hot, but it's going to be extremely hot. And like I said, you lose to Michigan, there's no words to explain how fast you will get your ass just punted out of there. But I'm going to wrap it up with this. Ohio State has a great team now. Ohio State has a lot of great players. Do I think this is the right move for all of these players to come back? I do kind of think it's the right move with the way you look at the rest of the landscape. A lot of the other teams in the Big Ten, Washington's coming in. Oh wait, their team's going to look like shit next year because a lot of players are going to the NFL. Their coach just went to Alabama. Oregon has the players actually coming in. They might be a juggernaut, but then again, how's Dylan Gabriel going to be as a quarterback there? Like I said with Michigan, J.J. McCarthy, he already announced he's going to the draft. Blake Corum announced he's going to the draft. Jim Harbaugh might be going to be the Chargers head coach. Who knows? There's a lot of different things going on around college football. The one good thing with Ohio State is we have some good things going on when it comes to players wanting to come play for us and players wanting to come back. That's the one good thing we have going for us. It's going to be a long offseason. That's all I know. It's going to be a long-ass offseason of just training, getting these players right. And I'm telling you right now, August cannot come any sooner. But without further ado, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go to enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy, as always, make sure you go and drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciative if you do so. If you stayed to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And you're an Ohio State fan like myself and you disagree or agree with any of the opinions that I had here about Ohio State players coming back. If you think a player that came back should not have come back, if you think a player should have come back that did not come back, if you think Marvin Harrison Jr. should have come back, like I think he could have come back, but I do agree with why he's going to the draft. Or just have a different opinion on the whole thing. If you think Ohio State is going to win the Natty next year, if you think they're not going to win the Natty, beat Michigan, not beat Michigan, like I said, completely up to you. Leave your opinion on what you think about all this stuff down in the comment section down below. Be more than welcome to talk about with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.